Today we're going to make everybody's favorite lasagna. Thankfully brought to us by the products that we were able to get at Central Market and HEB. Our own pasta dough to make our own fresh lasagna. And I wasn't going to take you through the whole process of making the pasta and all that, but I think it's good that you know how to do it. I'm going to get you in here on the work surface so you can see how it happens. And we're going to start. So, hang on one second. We're going to start by measuring off 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Like I said, I wasn't going to take you through this, but then I figured, well, maybe you might want to know how to make homemade pasta. We're going to take 1 cup. I'm going to take 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And we're going to take 1 cup of semolina flour. Semolina flour is a durum wheat flour. As you can see, it's yellow. It's a little more coarse-grained than white flour. It almost looks like cornmeal, but it's not. It's semolina. We'll measure off a cup there. Semolina is what most of your pastas in the stores are made from. And we're going to mix these 2 together. Just like that. And just get them incorporated with one another. And then we're going to make a well in the middle. Well, 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 look who fell in the well. There's our well in the middle. See the sides are all up? Just like that. Then we're going to take a half tablespoon of salt. Mix that around. And then we're going to start with our eggs. We've got 4 eggs here. Room temperature eggs. Just like that. And we're going to take about a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, starting with a fork, gently mix your eggs together and beat the eggs in the olive oil like as if you were making an omelet. And as your eggs get all incorporated like that, they're dragging in a little bit of the flour from our walls. Don't pierce the wall, otherwise you're going to have a big mess. The eggs are going to go running all over the place. You just want, as you're whipping the eggs, it's bringing in a little layer. See this little tiny layer of the flour that's coming in with every swoosh. And just keep incorporating a little bit more of the flour. It really doesn't take a whole bunch of time, but it's well worth it. You could do this in a food processor. I don't think it tastes the same. This is the way my grandmother did it. This is the way my aunt did it. This is the way my uncles did it. See, it's starting to firm up. as it brings in more and more of the flour. See, now it's starting to turn soupy, almost like, not soupy, more firmer. And it's going to turn into a beautiful, beautiful dough. Now the egg won't run all over the place. You can start incorporating more and more of the flour. We still want this nice mixing and beating, because this is how we're developing the glutens in this pasta. By doing this. See how it's getting tougher and tougher to move around with the fork? Get your kids involved with this. They would love to be involved in this kind of thing, because this is like fun. Okay, now it's to the point where it's a dough and you can start working it to work the rest of this flour in. It's not sticking too much to your hands. See, we're just going to work all of this in together. Just like that. See how that turned from mush to dough in no time? Now here's where we get on it a little bit. We want to knead this, and you want to put all of your weight onto it, because we've got to develop those glutens that make pasta what it is. It's still a little wet. I may take a little flour and put a little flour on this. If we weren't going to use this right away, at this point is where I would wrap it up and let it rest in the fridge for about an hour. But since we're going to use it right away, we don't have to really do that. Get on it. Really jump on it with the palms of your hands. And knead it. And we're going to keep kneading this for about 8 minutes. If we need a little more flour, you can add a little more flour to dry it out a little bit. See what it looks like? It's a beautiful mixture. Everything's nice and tight. You can feel it. It's just, once it gets to that point where you know it's good, it's going to be good to go, you can feel it. Makes a big forearms too. What do you think all our Italian grandmothers had huge Italian forearms? It's from all that pasta making. Okay, our dough is right where we need it. I'm going to zoom in so you can see the texture of that. It looks absolutely beautiful. Very silky, very dough-like. I probably could have used some more semolina, but it's fine. We're going to let that dough rest for about 30 minutes. I'm going to wrap it in some plastic wrap. And we're going to start on everything else that we're going to work on today. Like I said, we're making lasagna. You're here with me. We're going to let this take a nap for a little bit in the refrigerator. We're going to start on the meat sauce and get our cheese mixture together. Let me get all of our accoutrements, our mise en place together, and we'll be right back. This is just a nice weeknight lasagna. This is no Saturday, Sunday, all day making the sauce kind of lasagna. So we got to do things that flavor a little bit. And one of those things is we're going to add a half an onion, a whole green pepper, a half of a minced carrot, and we're going to get that in this pan with some olive oil, a couple of bay leaves, and we're going to start to make a nice flavor base for our meat, which is 1 pound of ground beef, so that we're going to wind up with a nice flavorful filling for our lasagna. So we got about 4 bay leaves there. And we're going to season both the sauce and the meat. So that's the way this is going to happen. The pan's just coming up to temperature. We'll put a little olive oil in there. We'll get in our onions and our peppers and everything. Nice and beautiful. And we're just going to mix that around a little bit. Put a little salt. A little pepper. And we're going to let those cook until they get a little bit of color. As soon as they get a little bit of color, I'm going to throw in the bay leaves, and then I'm going to put in the ground beef, along with the seasoning for the ground beef. So, come back in a few minutes, and by then those vegetables should be ready. Our vegetables have sweat down. See how they're translucent? You can almost see right through them. That's exactly what we were waiting for. And now we're going to take them off of the fire and get the meat in. And the reason we don't want to leave them in is because ground beef tends to be a little on the fatty side, but fat is where the flavor is. So we want to cook with the fat, but we don't want to keep the fat. We want to try to trim the fat. So we're going to get this out of here. Yeah, I know. Usually I wouldn't do this kind of thing. I wouldn't use canned sauce. I wouldn't use ground beef. I would be slow cooking meat all day to make my lasagna. But this is a quick version. This isn't, not everybody has that kind of time, energy, or effort to do that kind of stuff. So, that's a pound of ground beef, 80-20. I'm just going to mix it up. If you had some sausage, leftover sausage, whatever, that would be another great thing to throw in here. And we're just going to brown the ground beef. Now, we're also going to season the ground beef. And what I've got here is a mixture of fennel seeds, salt, pepper, sage, hence that'll give it that flavor like we had sausage in here. Some ground garlic, and some oregano. So that's going to go in here. And that's going to flavor that meat up real nice. And we're just waiting until this ground beef gets brown. Then we're going to drain off the fat. And then we're going to mix our vegetables back in and our sauce. It smells delicious. It smells, that fennel and sage make it smell as if there's some beautiful Italian sausage in here. I'm just going to let that cook away for a minute or so. And while that's cooking, we'll be right back. Okay, our ground beef is done. I have tasted it. It tastes very good. In the back here, I've got one 32-ounce can of plain old tomato sauce. Store-bought, commercially available. We're going to mix back in our vegetables here with our beef. I've drained the fat off of it. All the vegetables go in there, the bay leaves. We're going to add in 2 cloves of garlic that we're going to crush, just like that. Just crushed like that. We're going to mix this all together. I'm going to fish those garlic cloves out later. I just want them to flavor this. And we're going to put this in the pot with the sauce. That's all this is for. It's for the sauce. And we're going to let that simmer back there for probably about a half hour until the sauce starts to mature a little bit, so it won't taste like a sauce out of a can. To this, I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon Old Italian Secret of sugar. It's going to combat that acidity of the tomatoes and make a beautiful, beautiful silky brown sauce, or gravy instead of this bright red stuff that comes out of the can. So we'll put in a little sugar. We're going to let that simmer, and while that simmers, that's it. Just a little bit, just a touch. I'm going to get you in so you can look at what this sauce looks like. Looks absolutely beautiful, like nothing you will ever find in any can anywhere. While our sauce is cooking, I figure we might as well get together our cheese mixture that's going to go into our lasagna. So what we have here is a 2-pound tub of whole milk ricotta, and we've got 2 8-ounce bags of one of Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan, and one of shredded mozzarella. And I'm going to put in like half because I'm going to use the rest for topping the lasagna. So half the bag of both of those cheeses go in with the ricotta mixture. Then we got 2 eggs that are going to go in there. And we're going to mix this all around, and then we're going to season it. Because ricotta is a very neutral flavored cheese. Okay, that's all nice and incorporated. I'm going to mix in 1 tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of salt, and a tablespoon of black pepper. In it goes. The raw egg thing, ignore this step, but I always have to taste it, see if we're on the seasoning point. Okay, good. I'm going to put this in the fridge, let it sit. It's going to chill out while we're waiting for our sauce to come up and then cool down. We'll be back. I wanted you to get a look at this. The sauce is done. Look how beautiful, dark, deep color that is. It's absolutely phenomenal. We're letting that rest, let it get cooled down a little bit. And we're going to work on our pasta. I've taken our pasta sheet out of the fridge. It looks beautiful. And we're going to turn it out. I'm going to put some flour on the bench. turn it out on our bench a little bit here. Get a little flour on it so it won't be so sticky. And we're going to cut our first piece off. Ooh, nice consistency, beautiful. And we're just going to flatten it out a little bit. And we're going to roll it through our pasta machine. I happen to have a hand crank type here. You could use the electric ones, whatever you got. It's on its widest setting right now. Beautiful. Hit it with that little bit of flour in between, and it'll make sure that it doesn't separate on you. If it should separate, don't worry about it, just run it through the machine again. And this is up to you, how thick you want to make this sheet of pasta. I want a little bit more delicate of a pasta for my lasagna. So I'm going to run it through the next step down. Beautiful. Now it's starting to feel like a nice lasagna noodle. I think I'm going to hit this one more time. That's beautiful. That's the way we want this. Now, I'm not using a square pan today. I'm using this round pan today. So I'm going to cut our sheets to fit the bottom of our pan. So there's one sheet. This is going to be the center. And then that's going to be the end. And I'm going to continue like this until all that dough is done. We'll be right back. Okay, we're almost done here rolling out our pasta. I know you're saying, why are you doing this? And I'm going to tell you exactly why. This is kind of an homage to my aunts and my uncles on the Italian side of my family, that on the weekends when we had a chance, my father would take us up there to the Yonkers and see my Aunt Mary and my Uncle Phil, and there'd be canning tomatoes in the basement and making pasta, and we'd all just have a lovely feast when we went over there. And so this is kind of my tribute to them and their work ethic, and they really loved food and they loved to enjoy themselves too. So Aunt Mary, Uncle Phil, this one's for you. Okay, our pasta's all done. Now we're going to start to lay out our lasagna. So we're going to start, look at this beautiful sauce. You would never guess this came out of a jar. We're going to start with a spoonful of sauce on the bottom, maybe a spoon there, and we're going to spread that around the entire bottom. So just a little bit of sauce coats the entire thing so that it does not stick or burn to the bottom. That's what that's for. And we're going to start with one layer of our lasagna. Little fresh lasagna noodles. We'll lay those in there. Just like that. Scooch them around so it covers the bottom. Then we're going to put a layer of sauce, just like this. And a layer of cheese. And you're just spreading it out. This isn't going to be a real thick lasagna, but it's going to be a nice, delicate lasagna. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to make myself one, a little tiny one, just over here. Isn't that so cute? These are the little leftover pieces that I'm going to use. That's how that's going to be. That's what the big one's going to look like. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to assemble it, and then we're going to get ready to throw it. We're going to place these on a sheet pan. And in the oven they go. Okay, our beautiful lasagna is done. That one's out of the oven. That's the big one. Here's the little one. It looks absolutely beautiful. If I was going to plate this up and serve this tonight, I would open it up and put it on a plate and put some extra sauce on top of it, maybe a little more mozzarella cheese. But there you have it. There's our beautiful lasagna. I'm going to open that one up in a minute. I'm just letting it rest a little bit. Cut into that lasagna. Because I want you to see the layers and how it looks inside there. Just like that. Simply delicious. Very flavorful. Like I said, I would normally bathe this in sauce with a little more cheese. There you have it. Lasagna. Quick and easy. Homemade pasta.